Morning, Ellen Garcia at pressure-free.com. I can't remember the first person I heard that said this, but I know it's been said many times by many different people that pretty much everything around us all started with a thought. So the thought preceded the creation. For example, I have a lamp here. Someone thought about creating an Eiffel Tower lamp out of metal, and now it is an actual thing. I have my swan shirt on here. I am a swan. So my friend Angela, she had an idea to start a women's networking group in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So it was a thought, and then action happened after, and she created it. When, gosh, it would have been about, what year was it? 99? 98? No, 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 way before then. Um, 1994. My Nettie was, I was pregnant with my son Ned. Yeah. And so 94, actually, I need to go back in time to like 1991. I had been in my position as executive director of the Battle Creek Symphony for a year. And one of the things that I noticed, because we didn't have a four-year institution in Battle Creek, four-year educational institution, that we didn't have a lot of music teachers. Um, so a lot of kids were going to other towns to take lessons. And so I knew about community music schools. One had been built in my hometown of Concord, New Hampshire. So I started to entertain the idea, what if we as a symphony created a community music school that would create this like cradle to grave connection of music in town. And another thing happened where I was offered a position at a symphony where they had a school, and I would be running both the symphony, the school, and this conductor who wanted me to come and work with him was going to give me conducting opportunities. Like that was the little like, come on up here and I'll give you some chance to conduct too. And it was very enticing, but we really didn't want to leave Battle Creek. We really loved Battle Creek. So we stayed, and my husband and I built a music school. We took an entire year, the whole year of 1995 into 96, because the school opened on Valentine's Day, 1996. So first it was an idea, and then we started to get support for the idea. We talked to people. I talked to so many music teachers. Would you like to be under one roof and have a studio where students came to you instead of being in your house? And I put together a committee of people from community donors and people who would be excited about it. And there was one donor, former CEO of the Kellogg Company, who saw an article on the front page of the paper of me and my husband wanting to start this school. And um, I got word that someone wanted to meet with me. Unfortunately, he passed away like 1 week before the meeting. And so then his widow, she wanted to meet with me, and we created quite a great relationship. So the idea happens, and then usually it takes relationships. It takes other people for your idea to come to fruition. My son did the same thing at Aquinas College here in Grand Rapids. So when he was a junior, we came up for a leadership day because in US News and World Report, he saw that Aquinas College was rated the #1 sustainable business degree in the country. And he's like, I want the best. So we came up to Grand Rapids for a leadership day. And the president at the end of that said, and here is my email address if you have any questions. I'm sure thinking that none of these high school juniors were going to email him. We got home and my son immediately emailed him and said, I want to come to your school for your sustainable business program, but you do not have a hockey team. And so I would like to create a hockey team. So as a junior, he starts working on this, like putting in his mind what needs to happen. We went up for some more leadership things, and he'd look for kids who were wearing hockey coats. And he just started gathering people. Once he got on campus, he just started gathering people who played hockey in high school or had played juniors. And it took him, well, from junior year, senior, first 2 years of college. By the third year, they had an official team. So they had like a beer league team playing in the beer leagues for the first 2 years, but then it was a club team. But then they created a team that actually was a varsity team. Now they have a full hockey program for males, females, and I think there's a second male team now. So it's a growing program. It was incredible how much money, because they said no, by the way. The AD said no. People on campus said, "Oh no, just play club, as a little club playing in the beer league." And he's like, "No, we're gonna have an actual team. We're gonna play against all these other schools." And and he made it happen. So same thing when they created Ingalls Pictures, which is their video production business. My middle son, Ned, was going to Grand Valley State here and rather frustrated with the film program. He's like, I'm not really learning that much. There was a couple of good courses, and he was on Dean's List, and he had been salutatorian of his high school class. Like, I mean, this brilliant boy could have gone to college pretty much anywhere, like just like William. And so was like, okay, Hugh had just graduated, Ned was a sophomore, and we get this phone call, and they say, Ned's going to leave college and we're going to start a business. We're kind of like, well, okay. I have 3 degrees from the University of Michigan. My husband has two, one from Michigan, one from Western Michigan. It's like, oh, okay, so okay, you're gonna leave college, and I was like, oh, let's see what happens. And tomorrow we have the Ingalls Pictures Open House. If you're in Michigan, you are so welcome to come to 401 Hall Street and celebrate. This is their, let's see, 11th year in business. And so you're celebrating the 11th year in business. Almost all of those years, I think 8 years of those, they've held this community open house for anyone to stop by, see the studio, play some games, have some food, and just hang out. So, so it's kind of a give back to the community. We've had interesting people just show up, like, oh, I saw this thing was going on, and so it's just kind of a fun thing. But that started out of nothing. It was an idea, and now they've they've filmed around the world, Haiti and Bali and Jamaica and let's see, what's that island? They did an amazing real estate video that was the fastest sale for like the most money in St. Thomas. It's like a $25 million property. Like they've done some amazing things, mental health videos for the West Michigan Mental Health Foundation. Just incredible work that they've done over these 11 years. It started because it was an idea. So sometimes we get an idea, but we don't amass the energy or like open the energy and actually start taking the action to make the idea happen. Or we entertain an idea that is not a very helpful idea. So what I wanted to share for a little bit here is how important our thoughts are. Doubts can creep in so fast. You start working on a project and someone may criticize it or say it's not good enough or, come at you. I actually had someone in Battle Creek when I was creating the music school just completely, what would I say, like bludgeon me for trying to create a music school in Battle Creek. Like it was like, what do you think you're doing? You have no business doing this. You're like, you didn't grow up here. Like that was one of the lines. Like I was a foreigner, and I was from New Hampshire, and I sometimes do feel a little foreign. But it's like, wow. So people can look at your idea. Like think about Thomas Edison. How many people might have said, "Oh, what a stupid idea. Why would you do that? Why would you spend any time thinking about that or doing that?" So when those things happen, you need to take a pause. I love Stephen K. Scott's book about goal setting, where he takes apart any sort of criticism. If you get really upset about a criticism, there may be a golden nugget in there. That's what I've understood. Like if it really inflames you, maybe it's because something about the criticism has a little truth to it. But 80% of it might be chaff, like it should just blow away. But those are things that will hold us back and our self-doubt, checking the self-doubt. So here's a thought about self-doubt. When the self-doubt creeps in, I go right to basics. And I talk about these layers of our foundation. We've got the layer at the very bottom, which is your spiritual foundation. What is it that you believe, your faith foundation? Then are your people layers. Maybe you need to talk to someone who knows you and knows what you're capable of, not someone who's going to criticize you, but someone who believes in you, believes in what you want to create. And so who's in your people layers that's supportive of you? Usually there's only a handful of people because most people are threatened by any sort of change or growth or initiative. They really are. I had a donor who was also a lifetime member of the symphony when we were creating the music school. And this is a shout out. I don't even know if he's still alive, but Tom Gossard was president at the time of the symphony board, and he worked at Union Pump Company. Tom got up in front of the board and he laid out the most beautiful reasoning for why we want this music school. We're developing audience for music to be solid and continuing in this whole region. So we were creating satellite schools all over. Those were cut. It was very, very harsh for me to see that, but those were cut after years of creating this whole thing. The program is not what it had been. You got to give up your baby when you leave. So, but he gave the greatest speech. We still had this one donor, major, major donor, very, very wealthy, gave all their money to MSU, by the way, um, who did not believe the symphony should be investing in children, bottom line. She didn't have any children of her own. She wasn't really interested in children and education. She didn't even like our education program. So she didn't vote no, but she abstained from voting. And it was still kind of sad because I had created such a wonderful relationship with her. She would host guest artists, and we helped her out when she needed audience for this little poetry reading she was having. She knew my husband was a poet and connected, and just kind of strange how things may happen. So politics and how people react, we can't control any of that. So when you're on your thought and on your initiative, who are the people that are supportive? Then some of the next layers to me are, what are your intangible assets? What are the things you know? What are you good at? What resources do you have? And to list them out and say, well, I know how to write well, or I know how to I know how to get people to get excited about things. Maybe you're a promoter energy and that's one of your gifts. Or maybe you're really great at finance and you know how to do all the detail work. My husband's a really good strategic thinker, so he would lay out strategy and to-do lists. And I was like the action chick. That's what he called me when we were building the music school. So in addition to my full-time job and being pregnant, I was doing all these extra things that he, to make this whole project happen. We won national grants. Like we created a beautiful school. We visited schools all around the country to create the best school we could for Battle Creek. That was our vision. So when you first have that little thought, one of the things you can do is really expand the vision. Like, what would be the ultimate for this thing here? A lot of times people think very small, like, but if we're going to shoot an arrow, we have to shoot beyond the target. Targets is the first step of pressure free on purpose. And I use the word target because you need to shoot beyond. Your thoughts need to go beyond the target so you will hit it. Otherwise, your arrow is going to fall before it even gets to the target. So opening up and thinking really big is such a critical part of this. So just to conclude, we have a thought that's this, it's a positive thought, by the way, because the negative thought can grow into a negative thing too. It's like a positive thought about an initiative, something we'd like to do, something we'd like to create. And then it's like, okay, what is that really big vision? What's beyond anything we think could be possible? Go into that open to possibility idea, swim it open. If a doubt hits you, swim it. How can I expand on this? How can I make it better than I even think it can be? So keep swimming that idea. And then who are in your people layers? Who are in your people layers? Who's in your people layers that would be supportive? Maybe it's a minister or pastor. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a college roommate you haven't talked to in years, but they knew you had a passion for this thing. Pick up the phone and call your college roommate. Like, talk to people who you think would just be supportive there for you because the doubts will creep in.